but the business fundamentals and just the construction industry is it's basically the same, right? If you're building something, it has a certain cadence, it has a certain capital cadence, it has a, checks and balances, quality, all the different things that go into it. So it's kind of like apples and oranges a bit, but it's all the same. It's all fruit, right?
Yeah. We'll touch on one of our things that we definitely, like a specific example of like what we learned the hard way is when we started our first 2 projects, we burned probably 3 or 4 months of time.
Yeah, that's good.
Because we don't know who to put where in the process at what time and how to efficiently execute. So we definitely, like, that cost us, realistically, it could have cost, I don't know, somewhere between 20 and 30,000 on the front end and just carrying costs. But, stuff like that, right? Yeah. Like, you have to learn that stuff. And that's the thing, like Dennis and I see that as like, okay, we make a note. Next one, we don't do. So our next projects, we were in the ground within, I think, 4 days of permit approval from the city, from the county, which is 90 to 100 days difference than our first one, right?
Yeah.
So you're already
making
a benefit or a profit in that regard in terms of expediency. So things like that. But we have a lot of examples of that.
Welcome. I am here with Shelby Paget and Dennis McElroy. They are the owners of Storybuilders, a building company here in the Treasure Valley, and have them in the studio today to chat a little bit about how Storybuilders came about, a little bit about each other, and kind of what the future holds for the company. So I'd love to just start with a brief introduction.
Sure.
Shelby, maybe you can tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Thanks for having us, Matt. Appreciate it. Been looking forward to this. And brief background, grew up in California, moved out to Idaho about 10 years ago, dabbled in some technology sales for about 10 years, then real estate for about 8 years, and recently transitioned to building company full-time. Got a family, a wife, and 2 kiddos with another one coming, and I love the Lord and trying to glorify Him in everything that we do.
Awesome. I love that. Dennis, how about you?
Yeah, thanks again for having us here. And so also from California, moved into Treasure Valley about 4.5 years ago. It's been the best thing we've ever done. And it's a really amazing place where also two little kids and 2 girls. And it's just a great place to raise a family and put down roots. And it's the land of opportunity. So we're excited to be here. And we're working hard to contribute to the Valley and all that. I spent about 15 years in heavy civil construction, building highways and working on major public works projects all over the greater Bay Area. So did that for a number of years. And I also have some experience in starting like contractor trade associations. I did some international travel and consulting with some large groups like John Deere. And it's just been a hell of a ride. Yeah, it's been fun. And here we are. Rocking and rolling on a home building business, man. It's fun.
I love it. How do you guys know each other?
Well, we were introduced about almost 2 years ago, 1.5 years, 2 years ago, through the church a new church startup that we were part of, Storyline Church in Meridian, through his DJ Marks. He started that church with his wife, and we were connected through the Vision Nights and ended up just hitting it off and realized we have a lot of common connections and backgrounds and all this crossover that we never really I never met him in California the whole time, and he even lived with one of my best friends growing up.
Really?
Yeah.
Area
church.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fun.
So just kind of crazy to see how worlds collide,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of where we introduced to each other, and then we had coffee and really understood kind of where we're at and what we wanted to become, and we're on kind of a really similar trajectory and season of life. And it was cool.
I love that. So I've known Shelby for about, probably just like a little bit over a year now.
Mm-hmm. Maybe 2 years.
Maybe 2 years?
Yeah.
Time flies.
It's just like warp speed. Kids.
It's crazy. Maybe 2 years. And, Dennis, I'm excited to get to know you because anyone that Shelby surrounds himself with, I'm confident is a good person. In my 2 years of knowing Shelby, he approaches real estate differently than most, in a good way. Yeah. I think that our industry tends to get pretty wound up. We tend to talk fast and move fast. And you've been somebody who has just like slowed me down. And I love that because I'll call Shelby and it doesn't matter what's going on. There could be a problem on a file. we could have a new client, new at bat, need to get an offer and need to move fast. And you're just have this really calm demeanor. And I think it's just, it is really necessary in this business when it's filled with chaos. So just super grateful to know you, call you a friend, call you a business partner, and excited to get to know you more too, Dennis.
Same.
Awesome. So let's start, I love the name of the company, Storybuilders. Can you tell me a little bit about the story behind the name?
Yeah. So after coming together, figuring out kind of the direction we wanted to go with creating a business, after many tossed out ideas and going down rabbit holes with all sorts of options, we ended up settling on single family home building out of just kind of a creative outlet, something we're both fundamentally really passionate about and that we have the skill sets to execute on successfully, we feel like, in the Valley. And so then, just kind of culminating, what does that mean? What are we doing with this business? And what are we a part of? And all of that surrounding our story. It sounds pretty opaque in that way, but it's really applicable to everybody's life in terms of who's living in our home. They're creating their story with us, the story that we get to tell for our business and our family, and the story that is going to be told and written as we get to impact the community and the people that work with us and around us. So also, we got a little inspiration from the church. The church launch was Storyline Church, and we're like, hey, DJ, is it cool if we really love that theme and that application of that idea in our business? And he's like, yeah, that's awesome. It's flattering. So
it's been a cool way to keep us grounded too. We talk about building houses just as much as we talk about our own faith and just being prayerful and being good dads and all the other stuff that life throws at you, right? So it's a cool way to just get that daily dose of reminder of, what's really important,
Yeah, man, it's necessary. Life has a way of distracting you from what's really important. It's pretty crazy. So I love that story behind the name. You guys, most of you have heard of the author Simon Sinek. Simon says that we should start with our why. Most people know what they do. Most people know how they do it, but very few companies know why they're doing it. Do either one of you want to speak to why Storybuilders, why single family home building?
Yeah, well, I could start with my own personal vision for this. I coming from public works contracts and being like a highway road builder, right? There's that infrastructure a lot of time is taken for granted, we commute every single day, right? And when you're doing that, it's rewarding, and there's a lot of challenges in that. But me personally, I spent 15 years doing that, and I never really got a whole lot of fulfillment of seeing somebody light up when they see the product that we just spent a whole bunch of time and energy on. And I can tell you that when we saw like these last couple people jump into our houses and they were smiling ear to ear, and they're like, yeah, this is going to be our forever home. Or like a newly married couple jumps in and they move into a new house and they're ecstatic about starting their life over, and that's where we're going to make memories. That's amazing. You know what I mean? It was a super fulfilling experience. And so for us, like coming together, it's not only building really cool stuff, right? That's a key. We want something challenging. We want something that we can be creative with. And then ultimately through that success, we have a profitable business and we can be impactful in this community and hopefully beyond that, right? Like there's some stuff through the church that we want to do, and ultimately we want to inspire others to do some big stuff too. So yeah,
awesome.
Swinging for it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Anything to add?
I think from my perspective, just as I've been acquiring experience in different capacities in my career and my life so far, it's like you're taking these little pieces of each component and you figure out what you like, what you don't like, what fills your cup and what robs you of life.
Yeah, plenty of that.
Yeah. And so, you go down that path, and I guess I've been in a career for almost 20 years now, which is crazy. Just ages myself a lot.
Be careful with that.
I know. But this is a pursuit of a combination of, up until this point, everything combined that would be exciting and fulfilling for me, at least, and personally. I love underwriting deals. I love connecting with people and working collaboratively. Like, we go to coffee shops and we go to sit downs and all these things, and we get to run into people that are tangent to our business or involved or have been an influence in our journey here in Idaho. And it's just so cool to be able to do that in a community like this, while being able to, like I said, identify opportunities that pencil, bring resources together and then create something that is an outpour of both of our visions and creativity. We truly design the houses. Like, we love that part.
That's awesome.
And we'll just sit down for hours on end and we'll just like tweak and fine tune and adjust and adapt. Go back to our drafter and he's like, oh, another revision. Like, yeah, but it has to be like exactly how we see this.
Yeah.
So we're very, very passionate and intentional about the product as well. And I think there's, coming from my perspective with being a real estate agent, which is really cool, I've seen and walked thousands of homes now with people that are intentionally buying at different price points. And I get to apply that wealth of data and data points that I don't think a lot of builders may have in the same capacity. And we get to apply that to what we bring to the table. So we're really excited to watch this company thrive and grow over time.
That's huge. I love it. What would you guys say the vision is for the next 12 months and then maybe a little bit further out, maybe the 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we're foot on the gas right now. We're in growth mode. So this is a tribute to Shelby, his vision, leadership, and just how quickly he moves, right? You mentioned earlier, he's very stable and he's got a really good cadence about him, but we're both like, we like moving, right? We like moving quickly with velocity. And so we were looking at this thing, and he's been challenging me every single step of the way, because I'm the guy who like jumps in and like, give me the shovel, let's go. You know what I mean? And he's the guy like, let's think about this for a second and apply resources, right? So we have this really good dialogue back and forth. And over the last year, we've put a really high horsepower team together, beyond just ourselves, including like a top performing project manager, superintendent. We have an amazing interior designer, engineering, drafting, other resources. So all of these folks, when we pull them together, we have the capabilities to grow pretty rapidly. So over the next year, 2 years, 3 years, we're going to start scaling. Our goal is to start topping out at least in this first initial stage around 25 to 30 homes over the next few years. And then we'll reevaluate. And I have a feeling, just through resources and just the growth dynamics in the valley, that we'll probably get into a stage where we start getting into land development down the road with some subdivision opportunities. That's one of the things I love about the Treasure Valley is if you're engaged and you have a vision and you have resources, you can really do some amazing things. And so that's kind of how I see it. You got anything to add to that?
No, that's perfect. I mean, we sit down and we are probably obsessively compulsively involved with whiteboarding, strategizing. So we're not just like pie in the sky. Look, hey, there's a deal on our plate. We're very intentional about our approach and execution. So we have a financial advisement that's very well versed with very successful builders in the valley, giving us recommendations for green light, red light, yellow light.
Yep.
And we've got full green light with our plans right now. And we've got like I said, our designer. We've got a gentleman that's running the job sites that has experience running hundreds of homes in the valley. And then we've got our amazing drafter too, who's designed some of the most spectacular homes in the valley as well. So collaborating with everybody that does things better than us, and helping them magnify our vision and come to life more expediently is amazing.
Yeah, I love it. Well, there's no doubt in my mind you guys are going to crush it and probably meet your goals and actually probably exceed your goals quicker.
Appreciate that.
Yeah,
that's a big part of it. I mean, you start peeling back the layers of the onion on that. One of the things that we're very much checking each other on, and this is what I love about being a partnership. A lot of folks, they're hesitant, right? Mm-hmm. Partnerships are tricky. It's like marriage, right? I'm super lucky to have a partner like Shelby in this business, and we're grounded in faith and some of the other things that we talked about. But those opportunities, when you start opening it up, it starts flooding the gates. And so you kind of like, if you say yes to everything, you're going to get yourself into a tight spot. So a big chunk of what we do on a day-to-day basis is like, is this the right move for us at this time? You know, do we want to allocate resources? You know, what's the best move for us at this time? And it's a throttle thing. So that's been really interesting, is watching that unfold over like the last year.
Yeah, I love that. I know a lot of people are hesitant with partnerships for obvious reasons. And I speak from my personal experience. My business partner and I have been working together for the past decade now.
Oh, wow.
He runs our office down in Huntington Beach, California.
That's amazing.
And business is hard, man. Like, it's hard. Yeah. Entrepreneurship is hard.
Yeah.
There are going to be really tough days. It's hard to do alone.
Yeah.
And while I can see how two people can complicate things also, like I couldn't do it alone. Like I need community, I need brotherhood, I need somebody to call, and stuff that we don't want to bring home to our spouses. Like you need somebody, an outlet, right? So I love the partnership personally.
It's amazing.
Mostly because it worked out well for me.
Yeah,
That's huge. Yeah.
Sharing that burden with someone, like I didn't know, I've ran solo most of the time and I've tried collaborations and stuff, and that, just like anything, relationships work or they don't. But I mean, Dennis and I have attributed a lot of our success in how quickly we've accomplished what we've already done to just, we call it, it's like our superpower. When we get together, man, we turn and burn through vetting things out and establishing solutions and establishing connections like very, very rapidly. And I move swiftly solo, and to be able to see something I've never experienced, the velocity at which we execute ever. Yeah. So it's literally, we say it every day, like it's our superpowers when we collaborate.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Big part of that's like the fear response. I mean, you've been in business a long time, and anybody listening to this, I'm sure they see that pop up on a daily, right? When you're vetting opportunities or underwriting, or do we want to do that deal or whatever? You're like, okay, what is the reality of that situation, and how does that compare to making stuff up in my head? Like, does this logically make sense? And what is the real risk response if something happens? And the ability of bouncing that off each other and being able to like, no, that's not real.
Yep.
Let's just put that away and execute.
Yeah, it's huge, and I think a big part of that is like removing the ego.
Yeah.
And I can tell from both of you, there's no ego involved. When you take the ego away,
we gotta lay it down each day.
Yeah,
on that, dude.
Yeah. But when you do, that's when the magic starts to happen.
Yeah, 100%.
Ego will get in the way.
Yeah, submit and serve.
Yes. That's a perfect segue to the next question. What role is faith playing in your lives, and more specifically, your company?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we wouldn't be sitting here today in this dynamic without, I always reference like what I see as like the tapestry of God's hands. It's like you can't see it because it's so complex, but when you zoom out, you start to see it, and how all these connections and interactions overlap in a way that you just literally couldn't even write a story about if you tried. And that's been evident in our entire process coming to Idaho 10 years ago up until this point, and the experience and the career choices and the people. I mean, all of these things just compound to create where we're at today. And I truly believe that God's had his hand in that and has had favor over us continually. Now, it's not always easy because we're at point X and we're like, all right, where are we going? What's happening? Please provide this and that. But then God's like, I got you.
Yep.
Just have faith, step forward, take action, execute, and submit. And know that, ultimately he's in control of all things, and he's made that evident through our process in this company, especially, and our families and our lives, the church, everything.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. I certainly had some moments in my life where I think I've got it all under control, and I'm the one making everything happen. And then real quickly, there's some humbling experience. Yeah. It's like, okay, got to put the faith back in God, because I don't have this on my own. So
I really appreciate you asking that question too. And it's been a huge thing for us. I mean, it is the most important thing, right? I mean, when we really look at it, I got baptized a couple months ago, and radically my life has been changing. I mean, radically over the last 4 years since we got to Idaho and we started over, new beginnings, all that stuff. And then drastically over the last year. And then it's even more so the last 4 or 5 months. And it's kudos to you guys for leading in this industry as an example of always talking about faith, even sitting down on a business meeting or over breakfast or lunch and then leading in prayer, that kind of stuff. I've never seen that before in my previous life, right? And a corporate environment where you're not allowed to talk about that kind of stuff, or it's frowned upon. And I find it one of the most freeing and inspiring things ever when we can have an open dialogue about business, family, real stuff, and faith all simultaneously. It's super cool. And I know there's a lot of guys out there specifically that are looking for that. So I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it's powerful, man. And it just goes so much deeper than the business and the money. And, you, as I alluded to earlier, business is hard under normal circumstances. Yeah. And so when you can surround yourself with good people, good human beings, in my experience, everything else tends to just fall into place, right? So I know that's what we're all three
Well,
focused
kudos
on
to you in that too. I mean, your name comes up often since you've made such a big impact, and I just I admire your character and who you are and how you lead your business.
Thanks,
It makes
man.
a big difference.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. What opportunities are you seeing specifically in the Treasure Valley right now as it relates to real estate or building, land development? Go where you want with it, but where are you guys seeing opportunity?
Yeah. So our first couple of projects we identified off market through a good builder friend of mine or contact. And he's been awesome to me over the years. He's quite a bit more experienced, but he gave us an opportunity to go and give it an at bat, and we ended up having success in that. What we realized too is for us, and in regards to Storybuilders, separate from maybe the market as a whole, our opportunity probably remains primarily in a certain price category, given the environment in which we're competing with national builders and people that have access to resources we simply don't. So we've primarily focused on properties between about 1.15 and 1.6 million. That's where we can really shine. That's where the margins make sense. That's where the resources that we have access to, we can really put our twist on things and create and have an impact on the product while still being able to create a business that can sustain itself. So from that perspective, that's like a zoomed in focal point. From the market perspective, as at a whole, man, it's literally the land of opportunity. Right now, we are like Dennis said, we're vetting out more no's to opportunities that are coming our way, and we're not even firmly established quite yet. Then we are saying yes to opportunities because there's capital, restrictions, and we're learning that cadence and resource allocation, and we're only so big. So I think as a whole, if you've got an inkling to go and you've got incredible intentionality and consistency, this is the place to be if you're an entrepreneur right now.
Yeah, man.
In real estate, commercial, whatever.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. The growth has been nothing short of impressive, and I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. I mean, this is a desirable place to live.
Absolutely.
Dennis, anything you'd add to that?
I'll echo what Shelby just said. I mean, it doesn't matter, even if you're outside of real estate or building or anything. I mean, if you have a good head on your shoulders and you're willing to work hard and you want to do a good job, like the market in this area needs you, right? I mean, they're short on labor, right? We got that Micron project that's popping off. I mean, the amount of resources that this area needs, that it's looking for, is it's under tapped right now. And yeah, I think the land development thing is interesting. I think we're going to keep our eye for subdivision opportunities. We want to be very conscious of price point. We don't want to stay in the national builder price range because it's hard to compete in that area. So we want to push up to the higher price points, to like what Shelby was saying. And I think that based on some of the data that we're seeing, it's this market over the next 10 years is, it's like a increasingly higher luxury type market. I think we will see more opportunities in that space, and we want to position ourselves accordingly for that. And the cool part about that too is there's enough opportunity with those higher price points to actually like flex that creative muscle and just build cool stuff,
sure.
Which is really rewarding. Like you see it come together and you're like, man, that actually looks awesome. And that's fun. So yeah,
absolutely. It's not cookie cutter.
Yeah.
Be a little bit more creative with it.
Yeah, exactly. So
on the land development piece, are you talking about taking raw land, getting it platted? Are you talking about doing horizontal work, going vertical? So everything from the start to finish product?
And we've underwritten some opportunities already at that capacity. It's just that's a different capital requirement. And as we, you asked about our 3-year goal. Our 3-year goal is to be at a place in 3 years where we can go fund some raw land development opportunities. So we've got our feet in the water to an extent to know how that process goes to an extent. And we've already gone down that path with the city with certain plats and opportunities. It's a capital restraint at this point that's kept us from being able to get into that fully. And right now we want to be fully focused on capitalizing the company through single family spec execution.
Got it. Yeah, that kind of part, goes into my next question. What's your number one need right now as it relates to the business?
Yeah. So I think, as we've developed this experience over the last year or so, after we've knocked out a couple of projects and did really well on those, our biggest thing day to day is cash gap management. So not so much that we don't have liquidity or cash to do something. It's just that there'll be swings of 250 to 500K between, for 90 days or 120 days that comes back to the business. But those gaps are where we need the funding reserves, basically. So our ideal scenario right now would be having an operating capital line of credit, or having a fund that allows us to take those swings so that we can effectively execute on deals at a regular cadence. Right now, we're going to be doing 8 homes between now and through the end of 2026, meaning started and sold or completed. That's our trajectory, and we can manage that at this point. But as we scale, we're going to continue needing more resources on the capital side, whether that's private or public. That's totally fine. Just that's our biggest need right now.
Certainly a capital intensive business.
Yeah, and it's a kind of a dual thing there too. We've had a few conversations this week alone on just what's the trajectory look like over the next 3 years, 5 years, and beyond. Everything's really volatile right now, politically and just the world these days, and so it's hard. We heard from a guy a little bit further down the road than us. He's like, it's a little harder to see beyond 3 years right now. So right now is a really good sprint window in the Treasure Valley for sure, just with, the way things are looking. Beyond that, it's kind of a question mark. So we're leaning into that and trying to have some confidence in, okay, we've done the homework. We understand price points. We understand what we're going to focus on, and hit the gas, get capitalized, get to a point where, you can weather the storm when and if those things pop up. So we're, something to keep in mind.
Absolutely. Yeah. What are the risks that you face as a new company, and what are you doing to mitigate those risks?
Honestly, probably one of the biggest things is prioritizing us getting paid through the process.
Yeah.
We're learning a lot fundamentally how to operate this business so that we're not left out. Me and Dennis have both left lucrative careers fully in hindsight to be able to go in this direction. So learning how to fine tune our deal structures and our projects, and understand with our financial and accounting advocate how to really structure stuff so that we end up sustaining our lives just fine and continue through the process while we grow. It won't be an issue so much 18 months into the fold, but the first 12 to 18 months, like any business, is a grind. And when you're going from, it's different when I was starting real estate, when I was replacing, maybe 6 figures of income, to where I'm at now, where I've had a fairly, very fortunate career in real estate. So letting that bag go that's a bigger bag. Yeah. So to be able to recoup that in less than, 12 to 24 months is quite a challenge. But we're on the right path. I feel confident that we'll be comfortable in that. So that's been a big thing personally on the back end of starting a new business like this for both of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Dennis, to kind of piggyback on that, what about in hindsight? What's been the biggest obstacle that you guys have faced over the last 12 months, or your biggest loss where you're like, man, we got crushed here. We had a blind spot. Yeah.
We got some of
there's some story, right?
You usually do. And so if you're starting a business, you're an entrepreneur, mistakes and just issues are part of the deal. Right? You need to be able to okay, that was a mistake. Let's not do it again. Learn from it. And that's creating opportunities to fail, but failing forward and working your way through it and not getting stuck to a point where the whole thing implodes. I think that's something that we do naturally. So that kind of falls in that superpower category. I don't really worry about the mistakes as much as our ability to solve the problem and move on and learn from it, and then make sure it doesn't happen again. A big thing is just the business itself, right? For me personally, coming from heavy civil construction, road building, that kind of thing, it's a little bit different, right? A lot of horizontal work experience, and then you start going vertical, and there's some terminology that I don't quite understand sometimes, so I'm learning on the fly with that. But the business fundamentals and just the construction industry is it's basically the same, right? If you're building something, it has a certain cadence, it has a certain capital cadence, it has a, checks and balances, quality, all the different things that go into it. So it's kind of like apples and oranges a bit, but it's all the same. It's all fruit, right?
Yeah.
So that's been a learning curve for us, but it hasn't been to the point where it's stifling our growth, and I appreciate that. I mean, resources is another thing, right? If you're starting a new business and you don't have relationships, that can be tricky. We're lucky to have Shelby and his experience here and his reputation in the Valley, and that goes a long way. I've sat next to him now for the last year, and when even people like yourself, right, just you just have this confidence in knowing what Shelby can do and his experience and how he carries himself. So that's gotten us to a lot of places that I don't think that even by myself, I would have been able to do. So I'm extremely grateful for that. So yeah, I'm at the point right now where I don't believe that there's anything that we can't do.
I love that. Yeah.
So we're foot on the gas.
I will touch on one of our things that we definitely, like a specific example of like what we learned the hard way is when we started our first 2 projects, we burned probably 3 or 4 months of time.
That's good.
Because we don't know who to put where in the process at what time and how to efficiently execute. So we definitely, like, that cost us, realistically, it could have cost, I don't know, somewhere between 20 and 30,000 on the front end and just carrying costs. But, stuff like that, right? Like, you have to learn that stuff. And that's the thing, like Dennis and I see that as like, okay, we make a note. Next one, we don't do. So our next projects, we were in the ground within, I think, 4 days of permit approval from the city, from the county, which is 90 to 100 days difference than our first one, right? So you're already making a benefit or a profit in that regard in terms of expediency. So things like that. But we have a lot of examples of that in the first projects that still worked really well. But in hindsight, we're like, okay, now let's evaluate. We've had review days. We pencil out things and we make sure that those things are caught on the front end moving forward. And so far it's been much, much better.
That's a great point. A lot of that's coming from like, how do you get it off the ground, right? Like kicking a home off. There's a lot of moving parts, but it's not like, looking hindsight now, it's not overwhelming. It's just, you have to have a cadence and you have to move it, right? Because everybody's busy. And when you come to a drafter and, or even permitting, like, follow-ups are required. People get busy, you get put on the back burner, things happen, right? Life happens for everybody. And you just got to be on everybody. And I think people actually appreciate it because then they're not letting anybody down. So we take that kind of cadence going forward now. Is like, we're going to follow up until we get what we need.
Yeah, man. In any business, any, entrepreneurial adventure requires massive amounts of action. Like, it's almost mind-boggling how much action, like nonstop, constant action to get what you need done. Like, if you're sitting back waiting for stuff to happen, you're toast.
Dennis and I, like, we're driving and we're like, we come up with something or something comes up and we literally, like, before we're through the thought, we're already calling someone. Like, it's just, that's how we operate together, which has been powerful in that regard.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Can I make one?
Yeah, please.
Yes. It's funny. It's a funny story. So like, that's new. Like, we rewind, like, let's go back like 7 months, right? Projects are off the ground. Things are happening. We're like, well, man, like, we're standing in a hole, like framing's getting done, all this different stuff. And things are rapidly happening to a point where we're just like playing whack-a-mole, like things are getting knocked out and we have time on our hands, right? And so one of the things that we've learned is, like, don't fill it with doing other things. We're calling them side quests now. Let's not go through that, because, like, we have a tendency to, like,
very attractive initially.
Yeah, we're like, oh man, like, we got different companies. We have free time. Like, I don't know what that is. Like, coming from each of our previous careers, like, we're going 100 miles an hour even on the weekends. And now it's like, yes, we're busy, we're working hard. I think, top performing in my opinion, right? And there are moments when I'm like, I don't know what to do with my hands. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're sitting driving like,
and we're like, well, let's come up with something else. Like, we went off on the rails a little bit last year, and we invented a whole new product, got it patented and everything. And then, like, we're like, wait a minute, like, we are
full on production point. Like, here's $30,000 to do the tooling. Let's get rolling.
Oh man,
we're like, all right, let's reevaluate again. Let's go back and whiteboard, make sure what's our bridge. We're building one bridge, and it's not that product yet, and that'll be on the back burner, but our product is single family homes to fund.
Yeah, you mentioned it earlier in the conversation.
And it's a great product. It'll have at some point in time. Yeah.
Cool. Well, you mentioned it earlier in the conversation, like, so much of life in general, I mean, even as it relates to, like, your home and your family and your personal calendar, is saying no to things that don't align with where you're trying to go. 100%. And man, can I relate. My, 2020, 2021 were insane years in the mortgage business. Like, just mind-boggling. And all of a sudden, you start to feel a little invincible. And you're like, okay, let's start an insurance company. Yeah, let's start an insurance company. Let's build a commercial building. We built a 3-tenant commercial building over at Orchard Park.
Awesome.
We invested in an exotic car rental business. Nice. And, like, then I bought a new house in Eagle, and it just like I did so much at one time.
Yeah.
And then the market turned, and there's God again saying, sit back. You're not as great as you think you are. But there is something to be said for being hyper focused on what's in front of you, getting really good at that, getting it to a place where it runs itself, and then work on something else. The thing with most entrepreneurial types of personalities is our minds are constantly going. Like we're always trying to think of what can I create? What can I do? How can I add value? Yeah. And so
what are we missing?
The risk in that, what are we missing? The risk in that is that we get distracted from
squirrel,
shiny objects distract me. Yep. Awesome. 2 more questions. It sounds like you guys have you had any mentors throughout the process, or have you been navigating this all on your own?
So no, never.
Yeah.
I think I've even called you for consults here and there. I mean, outside of my wife's like non-wavering support through everything I pursue, I'm so grateful for her. From the mentorship side of things, I think like Brett Hughes, I've been brokering with them for, almost my whole real estate career. Brett Hughes has been a huge impact on my life and the way I operate and the opportunities that I've executed on. He's been a participant as well as just a motivator. He's helped lay the groundwork, and our first 2 projects were in a neighborhood that he developed 12 units in previously. So just things like that. He's just been a great shoulder to be able to like go over and ask questions to, and run some scenarios by and give me, either encouragement or hesitation on things. So he's been a really wise role in my life in that regard. And then in particular to the building side, there's 2 people that come to mind that really helped fuel our launch. And that's Marcus Carey with Elevated Homes, just such an exceptional family.
Marcus
who's done a transition similar to us and gone from real estate investors and participants to building. And he's incredible. And he's been probably one of the most energizing and motivational people that we've got to sit down with to say, hey, you guys are okay. You're going to be all right. Just keep stepping forward. And then another person is Brady Lasher from Lasher Homes. I'm sure you've seen his name around. He's a quiet kind of guy off the main path in a lot of ways, but his homes are exceptional. His product's amazing. And the way he approaches his business and methodology of identifying deals and capitalizing stuff has been really instrumental. And both of these guys have been open books for us. So in the building side, those have been some people that have been mainstays, and then kind of a connection who's been a part of my life for a long time, not at a depth per se, but just kind of like a reassuring perspective, is a guy I bought a truck from like 15, 20 years ago. His name's Kit Stokes. And he doesn't speak a lot of words, but when he speaks, it's kind of like those quiet, wise people. He's like, just like literally just like, don't give up, keep going. That's it. He's in a place where we would love to be eventually. And he just built his 2nd or 3rd trophy truck. These are $500,000+ trucks that he gets to do and enjoy because he's delegated and he's created a business infrastructure that allows his life to thrive like that. And we got to go and run trophy trucks in Johnson Valley last year with him.
That's awesome.
And it was such a cool thing that he even showed up. Yeah. And it was cool just to hear him speak about, what it takes to get to a point where he's at, and just literally don't stop.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science. Just don't stop.
Yep.
So those would be the 4 people that come to mind for me.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. There was a guy, I talked to him yesterday, and it's one of those things I call him like once every 6 months. We don't talk very often, but when we do, same thing, powerful. His name's Brandon Sheese, Gold Sky Custom Homes out in Kimberly. And I met him at a multifamily investment program deal probably 3-4 years ago. And we kind of hit it off and stayed in touch. And I had lunch with him one time, and I just had some questions on home building. This is before I met Shelby, and he's just like, hey man, you can do this, And I really appreciate that, because he took time out of his day. He showed me a couple of builds I was doing, and I was like, man, I don't know if I could do this, right? But he's like, no, you can. Just this, right? And I called him yesterday, and I was like, hey, I just want you to know, like, I value your time, and the fact that you gave me a couple hours that day a couple years ago, and you breathed life into that concept and planted this crazy seed in my head. Like, we're doing it, man. It's super cool, and it's changed my life. Like, I just walked away from a 15-year career. Like, that was working out pretty good for me, and I blame him now. So I talked to him yesterday, and then there's been other guys like my buddy Eric Allred. I can't thank him enough. He's out in Utah. He just started his own heavy civil contracting business called Next Level Constructors. That guy's like family to me. We talk every day, and people like that breathe life into you and just tell you like, hey man, you're doing it. Don't quit. And we need guys like that.
Absolutely. I love when it's from people like that you're naturally going to end up competing with, and they're still just sharing.
It's amazing.
It's such an abundance mindset. I share that with you.
Yep.
That's a fundamental way that I choose to operate my life. There is plenty of business out there for everybody. And I love it when you meet people that are in your industry giving you advice on how to be successful when you're building product that eventually is going to compete with them. It's just magic, man. And I can't wait till we're all, I can wait. I'm not rushing getting older, but I'm excited for that stage of our life when we're all that next generation and we're able to give back in that way and help the next young guys, 100%. Be successful. So, any final thoughts that you would like to leave with the audience?
I would suggest one of the things that we're actively and currently exploring and creating is something that solves kind of a current predicament for a lot of agents, right? Coming from the agent side. Each year you go through the process, you parlay funds for taxes and investments, all this fun stuff. And at the end of the year, you're chasing new business repeatedly, right? And so we're actively creating basically a safe way through home building, as safe as home building can be. It's less risk adverse than other aspects of investing because we're using hard assets and we're in a relatively estimated projection for 6-9 month returns on the market, right? So that's why I like homes and houses in general. But for agents that have the capital set aside, they don't know what to do with it and they don't have more time because they're chasing clients constantly, which is sometimes exhausting, but they want that capital to work. We're trying to put together a way where we can partner with them and give them a preferred return and a profit share program on specific projects, whether that be a large sum or a small fund sum, which helps us with our capital requirements and helps them get a return and keeps the engine fueled up and rolling. So that's something that we're actively doing, which would be kind of interesting as we introduce that to the market here.
Do they need to be accredited to invest in that vehicle?
That'd be preferred. That'd be great. There's a way to do it adversely to that, but we're not quite sure what that looks like right now. So we're literally right in the stages of doing this. It should be 3 or 4 weeks before we have some clarity exactly what the requirements look like. But there is an option to do it both ways. We just have to figure out how we articulate that to make sure everybody's protected.
Awesome. And if people wanted to get more information on what it would look like to invest in the company or the specific projects, where could they find you?
Shoot us a message on Instagram at Storybuilders Co. And you can check us out there. That's probably the easiest way to get in touch with us.
Awesome. This is not financial advice, but Shelby is an incredible human being. I would trust my own money with him. I have a lot of confidence in how he operates, tons of integrity. And Dennis, as I alluded to at the beginning, if he's surrounding himself with you, I feel the same about how you operate. So again, not financial advice, do your own research, but it'd be worth taking a look at. That's all I had for you guys. I appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Check us out on Instagram. We're a pretty open book if you're interested in what it looks like to be a builder. We show you all the fun stuff and the hard stuff and the real stuff, and it's really cool. So
awesome. Yeah. Thank you both. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
You got it.